Garden update number 17. Let's get right into it. First off, I got these tomatoes. I got 3 of them in these littler pots, and they're not quite growing big enough. There's just not enough soil for them to grow. So I had lettuce here. Um, it's all mostly gone. Some of it went bad, so I took most of it out. I'm gonna chop the last 3 here just at the top of it. Leave the roots in there. We don't need to disturb the soil. So chop those at the bottom. Oh, there's one right here. Just make sure they don't grow. And then I'm going to plant these tomatoes right here. Those roots they got nowhere else to go. And it's pretty dry. Try to break this up a little. Some of these weeds out of the way. Well, let's try to go in the middle a little more. So this row. That. All right, so the next thing I want to do, pick some of these mature peas that I can plant again this fall or the following year. We got a lot of these brown pea pods, which I let go to seed. A bunch of these peas are ready to be planted again for another succession planting this fall or just planting again next spring. So we're going to take this off, take the net off, cut back a lot of the runners, and then I'll put the net back on. Maybe remove some of these weeds in here as well. Next up, we got our tomato plants here. So we got a lot of they're falling over. We got to get them back on track on this trellis. So these cherry tomatoes are doing good. So that's the one with a lot of flowers on it on the other side. However, the aromas, we need to get back on the trellis and kind of take off those lower leaves. So we might need to take some of the fruit off, like this one, because it's kind of making it fall over, and then try to get it back on the trellis here. I'm gonna try to fix the tomatoes up. I might not show all of it. Might take a little while and little planning to try to figure out what I want to do with it, and see if I want to pick some of the green tomatoes and let them ripen off the vine. So we'll get back to you here in a minute. Well, it'll be about 0 seconds for you. All right, so I got them pretty well cleaned up. A lot of the lower limbs taken off, some of them. And then I got them hooked up, growing up the trellis a lot better. So yeah, some of these are going outside the trellis. And this tomato's just going crazy. It's got tomatoes everywhere. I don't really want to, it's hard to just pick them off when they're still growing with a lot of tomatoes, like some of these down here. I don't really want to pick those off when those tomatoes are almost starting to ripen. So next up, what we're gonna do is get rid of this lettuce. So we had more lettuce here. You can see kind of the stems here. There's one good one here I'll pick and we can use, and then just get rid of the stems closer to the ground so they're kind of growing now. We just don't want them to grow anymore. It's going to get too warm and they won't do good. So we'll get rid of those, and then I got some cilantro seeds because I'm going to have a lot of salsa to make. I'm going to plant the cilantro in here. I'll get rid of a lot of the weeds as well. So let's do that. Pretty good head of lettuce here. I'll bring that inside to use. All right, so we got a pretty good cleared out area here. Still a few weeds, but what I'll do is kind of mix up the soil, and then I'm just gonna sprinkle these seeds along the top, and then I'll put a little more soil on top of those just to make sure they have good seed to soil contact and that they get enough water to start growing. So I'm just gonna grab a handful here. Smell pretty good. And just kind of sprinkle along the top. You could do like rows with these as well. That should be good.